This episode is brought to you by Sisu Sauna. Sauna and contrast therapy offers a natural and holistic approach to wellness, providing numerous benefits that support physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Heat from the sauna helps relax muscles and improves blood circulation, aiding in the recovery of strained or fatigued muscles. It can also help reduce muscle soreness after intense physical activity. We've been lucky enough to have Sisu Sauna on board as a partner of Power Monkey Camp for the past few camps, and it's been an incredible addition. We've added contrast therapy as a station to our camp, and the campers and staff have loved the added experience. I try to jump in the sauna as often as I can. We're in Tennessee for our camp, and I can't wait to add one of these to my home gym. Sisu saunas are made in the USA using the highest quality wood and steel products, plus their new Hume heaters are the best on the market. If you're interested in trying contrast therapy, we cannot recommend these saunas highly enough. Please use the code POWERMONKEY, all one word, all lowercase, for 5% off. Welcome to the Power Monkey Podcast, where we chat with the best in the world of fitness about what they do. I'm your host, Dave Durante, with my co-host, Mike Service, and on today's episode, we have two of the CrossFit world's up-and-coming youngster superstars, Emma Lawson and Jack Farlow. Emma has had a phenomenal run as an individual athlete, finishing 6th at her first CrossFit Games Open Division as a 17-year-old back in 2022. She upped the ante a little bit and finished an incredible 2nd place this last summer at the CrossFit Games. Jack, on the other hand, is coming off his first CrossFit Games experience in the Open Division and finished 27th, and also put on quite a show, winning the Olympic total event as one of the youngest athletes in the field. We were lucky enough to work with both Jack and Emma recently at a Power Monkey course that we hosted at Polsky Strength and Conditioning in Ontario, Canada. Not only are they incredible athletes, but they're great people as well. We were able to catch up with them as they prepared for the recent Rogue Invitational. They have big aspirations for this upcoming year and beyond, and we're excited to see what they can do. We hope you enjoy getting to know Emma and Jack just a little bit more. Enjoy. Well, Jack and Emma, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. How you both doing?
Doing good. Oh, sorry.
No, we're good. We're good.
It's going to be great.
Before we get into the podcast, Mike already kind of ruined it a little bit, but we just saw it when it popped up and it was pretty badass. I want a little bit of a background behind it. But Jack, when you signed into Zoom and your profile is coming up, you have this maple leaf looking JF logo that is sick. What's up with your logo here, and tell us a little background on how you got that created.
Yeah, I think that was like at the beginning of school being canceled for COVID reasons. I just got bored and just scrolling the Instagram, looking at people's profile pictures, and Rich Froning has like a R with the star. I think it's like his logo for all his Rogue stuff and everything else. So I just went onto some site. I forgot what it was called, but I paid some guy like $15 for like 3 free reiterations with it too. And I just said I wanted JF with a little touch of Canada in it. So that's what he came up with.
Amazing. Are you happy with how it turned out?
I was. I had it as my Instagram profile for maybe like 3 weeks, but I got a bit self-conscious about it. People were talking about it, so I just took it off. Yeah.
I like it. It looks good. You got to make some t-shirts. You got to start making some apparel on this thing. Capitalize while you can.
Emma, I have a follow-up.
Are you jealous?
I have a follow-up question, but Jordan, go for it. Sorry.
Emma, are you jealous that you don't have a logo like Jack does?
When Jack, I think didn't know Jack for that long when he had his logo, and I remember talking about it with this girl at the gym. She's like, Jack has this really cool logo, like we should try to make one for you. So we tried to come up with these logos with my initials, and nothing
Can you send over those rough drafts? We'll put them in the show notes for everybody to go and vote on them or something.
I don't know if we still have them. I think they were on a whiteboard, but I'll see if she remembers what they were. I'm sure she does, but that'd be funny.
Just the logo, the athlete formerly known as Jack. Now you're just the logo moving forward.
Exactly.
Well done.
I'm okay with it.
Well, on the just staying with you, Jack, for a second. You're 21 now, is that correct?
Yep.
And Jordan was doing a little bit of research on this, so I want to get a little background on you're a smart dude. Like you're not just a good-looking, handsome athlete. You got some academic chops behind you too. And Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with you having created and assisted in the creation of some robotics and prosthetics and things like that?
Oh, well, I don't know. That might be a bit too much, but I'm still in school right now, and like as part of some courses, some lab courses, like that was the kind of the capstone project, was to create something like that. So, I mean, it was nothing crazy, but I had to do it to get the pass in the course. But it was just it used like EMG circuitry. So, I mean, you guys are all familiar with like a Compex or something like that. So basically those electrode pads, except the signal is taken from the contracted muscle, and then it was meant for someone with without a hand to like grab a pencil or something. It was pretty basic stuff, but yeah, it was pretty cool to actually make. Yeah.
Mike, do you find that to be fairly basic stuff that you just kind of do on the weekend?
Totally. I mean, from my background as a semi-professional engineer, yeah, easy stuff. No way. I'm imagining you like building like a CrossFit Ironman suit or something, Jack, and then you come out with it.
Yeah, I got nothing in the works, but that is the kind of stuff that appeals to me, especially more recently, like the exercise physiology type stuff. We don't really touch on that at all in my program currently, but I think like, I don't know, after competing, like combining those worlds of like what I've done with kind of the more science side of things is appealing to me.
Dave, I feel like Jack might need to come with us on a little trip where we've got some biostrength stuff that we get to play with. He might be interested in that.
Yeah, those machines are amazing. We've been doing some work with Techno Gym out in Italy, and some of their new technology on their equipment is pretty spectacular when it comes to feedback according to the user involved and how to keep people on track with their training. But that's maybe another podcast in and of itself. But do you find being able to stay upon your schoolwork in conjunction with training helpful at all? We're seeing so many people drop everything they have going on in their lives to be able to devote everything to training. Whereas some athletes like the balance. We spoke with Ariel Lowen, she has 10 things going on. She's a mom, she's a business owner. She has all these things going on. And I'm just curious, from your perspective, do you find that it helps you to have separation between your training and your school work to be able to kind of step away from the gym when you need to and have your mindset on something else?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, for sure. It does get challenging, especially like in the summer. So I've school year round basically, but every other term is a work term. So thankfully I'm done all the work terms I need, so I can take the rest of my summers off for school. But last summer especially was challenging, like games training, just that takes more time, more energy. And then school kind of at that point just became like something that I just had to get done. I think more towards like the off season times when training's down a little bit, it's nice to kind of just be able to flip over, like you said, and take the brain off of training. But I'd say it depends on the time of year. It's also another thing with like exams and labs to get them moved for like going to the games. It's not as easy as I would like to kind of get that arrangement made. So things like that can be stressful, but overall, I'd say there's a good balance.
What about you, Emma? Where are you on that with your schooling and training? What do you prioritize? Obviously, with how well you've done over the last few years, I imagine that training is a priority. But are you balancing the same type of thing?
I mean, not maybe to the definitely not to the extent of Jack. He's obviously, his school takes a lot more time than mine did. But yeah, so I just graduated from high school in June, so I was super busy with that like for I don't know, for like until now. This year's the first year where I'm taking a year off, so I'm not in school at the moment right now. But yeah, I mean, I was nervous going into like this year just because I am so used to being in school. I've only really known that like ever since starting CrossFit, I was always in school, so I've always just known that to be like the way it is. So it's definitely a little bit different now. There's definitely more time right now not being in school. But yeah, I don't know. I am enjoying having some more time also now. I don't know. they're just different. It's different.
I get that. I just remember all the days, and for the collegiate athletes out there that had this experience, I'm sure you can reminisce with me. But we would have like NCAA championships, and we would have finals the same week. So at Stanford, we would have to actually there would be competitions where our professors would actually have to send us our finals, and we would have to take them on the road the week of the competition, and we would have to do it being proctored by one of our coaches. And like being able to balance those things was incredibly challenging, and like so difficult mentally to be able to say, okay, where is my attention, especially on like, imagine you, Jack, the week of the games, having to have a final and things like that, being able to balance those things. So I know it can be challenging, just finding the silver lining when you do have to balance those things. But from your perspective, Emma, is the goal to take the year off and then potentially continue with education, maybe go to college? Is that a possibility, or are you looking at just completely focusing all the attention on fitness right now?
So I had full intentions of going to university, like all throughout high school, like immediately after I graduated high school. But it wasn't until like December where I was kind of, I guess I had the idea in my mind that maybe I wasn't going to go to school right after. So I guess fairly recent that I decided that, also because I just was so unsure of what I would want to take post-secondary. So yeah, I don't know. Right now, I'm not sure what it'll look like for me next year. But at the same time, I definitely want to take advantage of the time that like my body is able to do this right now. Obviously I won't be able to do it forever. So I'm going to need to have some sort of backup plan afterwards. But I don't know. I don't think it's a bad idea to take a few years off and just see what I can do in CrossFit. And then, yeah, find something that I could be interested in to go to school afterwards. But there's also so much online that's available now. And even just like on the internet and YouTube and stuff that you can learn. I do think, I mean, I was into like math and science in school. I like that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't be opposed to taking some sort of business course. I feel like that could be super beneficial to what I'm doing as well. So yeah, I'm unsure at the moment, but
understandable. Now, the one thing you've done exceptionally well is this transition. I want to ask both of you, and Mike, please jump in as needed here. But the transition going from, excelling at the teen level to now having incredible success at the open level. And we've seen a lot of transitions happen where the athlete just can't transition, just doesn't have the chops fitness wise to be able to compete, even though they were a major player at the teen level. And then other factors coming in with athletes that, have all of the accolades and the weight of the world on their shoulders when they make the jump and, maybe move across the country to be with a particular coach or particular camp. And then we've seen, the situations that have happened with Mal and Haley and some others. But you've seemed to navigate that transition exceptionally well. And I'm curious from your perspective, what's allowed you to not only transition well, but continue to excel when it's had such an impact in a variety of ways, most of them negative, and for a lot of other athletes?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it has worked out very well for me so far, and I'm super lucky that that's happened. I mean, there definitely are, it might look like on social media and stuff that it is all just great. And I mean, that's what social media kind of does. It's just highlight videos of good clips and stuff. But I mean, there definitely has been, it's been hard to deal with, especially being a young one coming up, and then people are now looking at you. And even though not everybody's looking at you, but it feels like everybody's looking at you. And it can feel like a lot of pressure at times, definitely. So that can be a lot, but I don't know. I think I've just been, I mean, in the past, kind of like we were just talking about, it definitely was nice to have school and like I could go to school every day and see my friends and just have that like sense of like a normal day, you know? I feel like that was super helpful for me also, just to kind of forget about training and not overthink it and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I've always been trying to, I guess, just when times get stressful and I feel a lot of pressure, just to like keep reminding myself why I even started doing this. And it's just because I really love doing it. So when I get so caught up in the pressure and putting all this expectations on myself, I just try to remind myself that. And I mean, easier said than done, but that's been something that I've been definitely trying to work on to help with that. And funny enough, someone asked me recently how I feel now, because I felt a lot of pressure going into the games, like the games that we just had, coming off of last year and placing 6th. I felt like I needed to do better in order for me to, I don't know, show that I've improved or something. Not the case, but that's how I was thinking. And but now, after finishing where I did at the games, I surprisingly feel less pressure than I did before, which is weird, and I'm not really sure why. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a constant journey of ups and downs, and just really coming back to why I do this is, I think, what's helped me in the long run.
Yeah, Emma, you brought up a question that I'm actually curious to ask Jack, and I kind of want to come back to you on it too, because I think, I mean, Dave and I being athletes, like we probably have opinions for why we did what we did and how we've transitioned to what we're doing now. But I think that is a relevant question, especially with like younger athletes, like both of you. So like Jack, why do you feel like why do you want to be a CrossFitter? Why do you train as hard as you do? Like, why do you find yourself, I mean, at 19, you were a teen games athlete, and now you've made that transition, that jump. Like, yeah, what is it? What do you want to do? Why do you do it?
This came up recently. Like we have a lot of people at our gym that are like just getting on like a new program basically. And there are a lot of things that can come up that can make it really easy to like not get your training in or not get enough sleep or eat crappy, whatever it is. And I think willpower will only take you so far. If every day is a struggle to get to the gym or a struggle to eat well or a struggle to go to bed, I don't think you're ever going to make it. I think it has to be a true desire to want to do those things like 90% of the time. There are going to be times where you're tired, you don't want to go to the gym. And that's another thing. That's where you really have to say, okay, you know, I gotta just get it done. But I think if you're not enjoying the process on a daily basis, there's no way like you're going to be able to put in that kind of time and energy into such a hard thing, right? So that's for me. I think I just love it naturally. I'm not sure why, but yeah, I think that's my answer to that.
I like that one. I have some thoughts to it as well, but I'm curious, Emma, since you brought it up, like you said, why you're doing what you're doing. Like, yeah, why are you doing this?
I mean, I think my answer is pretty similar to Jack. I just really like the whole lifestyle of it. I mean, it really is a lifestyle. You're always trying to get good sleep, have good nutrition, you know, all the recovery, and then of course the training. And yeah, I guess I just really enjoy it. It makes me feel really accomplished afterwards. And yeah, just overall really good. I mean, obviously there are going to be hard days and days that you don't want to, but for the most part, yeah, that's good.
No, I mean, I love both your answers. I think probably Dave and I would want to continue to check in with you over the course of the next years and keep like holding you to answering those questions.
Yeah.
And it makes me think of like comparison wise, and I think you both had some sport backgrounds as well prior to CrossFit. Like I played American football for a long time and I loved the games, but I didn't like practicing. Mm-hmm. And the difference for me, which is what took me into the sport that I stayed in the longest and found the most success, was weightlifting. I loved training. So like the whole part of training, going to the gym, being it, like I only wanted to be there. That's what was fun. And then, like you said, Jack, it's like the willpower is one thing, but then, you know, actually wanting to get the sleep, wanting to get the nutrition, all of those pieces, it's almost a little bit gamified to like, how perfect can I make everything? And then when it's not perfect, how much can I then overcome, you know, whatever happened. So it's, it's fun to hear those perspectives from you guys. And I think, you know, Dave, you were pretty similar. I think you were a gym rat with gymnastics. You just loved the process.
No, absolutely. I mean, definitely my favorite part was just being in the gym. I loved every part of it. Smells of the gym, the nastiness of, you know, doing all the sacrifice stuff that nobody else wants to do. That to me is what I gravitated towards. And in gymnastics, I'd say similar to a CrossFit type setting in terms of how the competitions are run, it's a performance. You know what I mean? Like you're getting a chance to show off all the time and effort that you put in the gym for everyone. So for me, it was like almost like a time to exhale when the competition finally came around. In fact, we always knew, me and the guys at the Olympic Training Center, we always kind of knew we were ready for a competition because weird little shit would start going wrong that never went wrong otherwise. Like you'd make a weird mistake or you'd do something or something like that doesn't happen. It's like, okay, it means we're ready. We're ready. We just need to go out and perform. Like we've done this so many times that like these stupid little things are happening. It just means we need to go and perform. So I absolutely adored the training part. And I think you're right, Jack. I gravitate more towards not so much willpower being the factor that brings me into the gym every day, but just desire to reach my human potential. And that's what I did as an athlete. And I think a lot of us are kind of in that same boat just to see how far we can push ourselves. And the CrossFit Games allows you to actually, you know, put a ranking to that, which is kind of cool every once in a while. But
and Dave, I was just to like finish. I feel like you guys probably don't need it, but like affirmations for both of you on that is just, that's such a valuable fuel for you to have, especially now when it's so easy to compare to your previous results or to what you hope to have as a result or anything. But when you kind of come back to that foundation of you really love the process and you love doing it, when you have a bad day, you can kind of refocus on that and be like, is there anything else that you would want to do? Like, no, I don't think so. So that's, I think that can be it can allow for you to still have that drive and hunger, but like a peaceful contentment that, as two older retired athletes to two, you know, younger with a lot ahead of you, that I think that perspective will keep you much happier, in the sport as long as you want to be in it. So, great answers from both of you. Just makes me happy.
now just building off of that, you know, a second place finish for you, Emma, and 27th for you, Jack, at the finish of the games. Looking back, what changes would you have made? Is there something that happened throughout the weekend that you said, you know what, if I would have done this over again, maybe it was a workout that you would have preferred to do over again, but was there something in there that you said, hey, you know, this was a missed opportunity, and the next time this comes around, I'm going to have a different perspective or approach this differently? Jack, maybe you first.
Yeah, I can lead us there. There are definitely a handful of things that it's easy to say that you wish you would have had more practice with or more touches on before the games. But I mean, ultimately everyone's going to have those things. But for me, kind of if I could go back with the same skill set, same fitness, would just be the first event. Like obviously it's my first games event, like jitters are like through the roof, and you know, you've trained for me like 4 or 5 years basically to get to that starting mat with those bikes. So I think I just got a bit excited and like kind of had an idea of like where I needed to be and when, and not necessarily basing it off how I was feeling in that. So basically I just cramped up super bad there. I wasn't that well to start, but it was like debilitating cramps. So, you know, I find myself 25 minutes into my first games event on hands and knees, and people are just riding their bikes beside me. It was a tough start. I think in hindsight, like just easing into the workout and finding your groove's the way to go. But obviously I didn't have that vision at the starting line. So that's kind of like the one that got away from me. And then obviously that fatigue carries into the rest of the 3 days. So it was kind of a tough start, but after that, I felt like I did what I could.
And really quickly, I just want to expand on that for the listeners out there. That first event was the ride event. It was 40 minutes on the Trek bikes around the track, basically as many laps as possible in that time period. Are you comfortable on the bike? Is that something you guys train quite often?
Stationary bikes all the time.
Uh-huh.
We did a couple stints on like more mountain bikes. Not until after they're announced, but I'd say we're both very comfortable.
Yeah, I think we just both grew up like riding bikes a lot through trails or whatever. So, but yeah, we didn't really train much on a mountain bike before the games.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about you, Emma, with something that maybe was a little off or you would change if you had a second go?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be like a different strategy maybe or a different approach to a workout that maybe I could have had, but I mean, there's not anything that really stands out to me. I was just proud that I like was able to finish all workouts that I can remember and feel like I gave it my all. So I think that was a huge goal of mine, even just going into the games in the past. Not that it would have changed any results in the past, but just like finishing a workout and just feeling like, oh, like I could have gone harder or something like that. I really just wanted to go into the games and not like leave with no regrets. So I feel like I was able to do that this time. So yeah, there's nothing that stands out at the moment that I can think of.
Well,
but
10 top 10 finishes might do that for you, where you're like, you know what? I succeeded across the board with what I wanted to do. And you actually won that first event too. So it seems like you came out hot of the gates with the ride event. So
very hot. Yeah, I had some cooking too, but not as bad as Jack.
Now, one of the ones that you did struggle with was the inverted medley a little bit. I'm kind of curious.
Oh, yes.
How that event was. I'm always interested about handstand questions, obviously, and the new movement of the pullovers being put in there. How did that event go from you from a new movement perspective, pirouetting on boxes and then linking up pullovers, that type of an event?
So we had done actually pullovers in the past. Not like a decent amount actually in training leading up to it, but I never thought to link them together. So that was definitely new. When I saw some people start doing that, I was kind of like, oh, we kind of need to figure out how to do that. Mm-hmm. So that was definitely different. I feel I definitely had an advantage on that workout, specifically being in one of the later heats, because we were able to watch some of the other athletes and kind of see what they were doing, what worked and what didn't. But yeah, events like that, honestly, is all just execution. You know, you could be in the back, and when I was in the back, like my pirouettes on the boxes were so good. My handstand or my freestanding handstand push-ups were going great. And then you get out there and the nerves set in, and then that's a whole new ballpark, trying to do high skill stuff under a lot of nerves, with a lot of nerves. So yeah, honestly, there were definitely a lot of new elements in there for us. And yeah, it was just about managing the jitters with that. So yeah.
Understood. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Jack, does that at least make you feel a little bit better when you hear her say she has jitters from times too? Like, you know, you said first event you had those jitters, it's your first time there, but then it at least has to be a little reassuring to be like it's still there, even when, you know, when it's your second, third, fourth, fifth, probably 10th games.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure they'll always be there. It's just a matter of
the jitters are always there.
Not letting that get to your game plan or adjusting anything right before you start, right? So
yeah, totally.
Just got to control them a bit better.
So I'm curious. Dave has a lot of the technical questions. Mine are probably more like for the front of like the CrossFit gossip magazines or something. So I'm more curious in this moment. When you guys find yourselves just talking inside the gym, outside of the gym, is it really like, no, we still drink the CrossFit Kool-Aid and everything we talk about is CrossFit, or do you guys have some like other types of topics and conversations that you enjoy, like to put into the conversations? There's no wrong answer to it either. Like if it's all CrossFit, I still applaud that.
Jack, you start.
Trying to think. It's definitely not all CrossFit. I think like with our schedules though, most of the time we do spend together is at the gym. So
Mhm.
I mean, in there it's mostly CrossFit. But we do have like a good friend group also at the gym that we hang out with from time to time, and I think that's our time to really get away from the sport. I mean, things will probably still come up, but like that's when we're joking around and just like having dinner together or something like that. So I can't think of another topic that might take precedence, but we definitely get away from the CrossFit talk.
All right. I feel like that might have even more importance this year, just to keep with no school in the mix for one of you. Like there's going to be probably some desire to turn off from the gym every now and then. So you might have to help a little more on that now, Jack.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, I commandeered that just for a moment. It was one of I needed to ask it.
Well done. Well, I know it's going to come up in a little bit in terms of Jack's incredible lifts, and we touched on this. We were fortunate enough to come and hang out with you guys a month or so ago out in Canada, and we had a great time. I appreciate you taking the gymnastics course and not the weightlifting course, which is of course the way to go for anyone listening out there.
That's going to come up here in a little bit. Just throwing that out there.
I specifically paid them off to not attend anything mic service related, so I appreciate you guys doing that. But it was great to be able to see how you both move in person, where your strengths and weaknesses are at on the gymnastics side. You guys being so open to, a course that's meant for beginners, and you guys are approaching it with open minds and open ears, and just seeing how well you move, especially Jack with your size, not coming from gymnastics, more of a hockey background. You showed me muscle ups at the end, and we're asking for some technical advice, and they were as perfect as you need them to be. And I'm just kind of curious on when I see that from a bigger dude, and it's always impressive to me to be able to say, hey, you don't have this background, but you move so well. Is the gymnastics an area where you had to put extra emphasis because it's challenging and your body type doesn't really allow for it? Or do you find yourself just to be an athlete that kind of naturally figures things out and is across the board someone that kind of like, these movements are tough, but I can figure them out because I'm a very capable athlete?
Yeah, I think like at times gymnastics have been a bit of a weakness in some specific movements, but overall some of my like best movements are actually in the gymnastics realm of things, like legless rope climbs, or like I do like some handstand work, and now like stricter deficit handstand push-ups I would like to see. So yeah, like I am a bigger body, but I don't think I'm actually that heavy relative to the rest of the field. So in a weird way, they're not that bad for me. But I think just in terms of like technique and stuff, I've always been a student of the game, kind of in some sense, like watching probably mostly Rich and Matt and how they do their movements. But like Vellner will like crush a muscle up workout, and I'm interested to see his transition from getting over the rings to the dip, because something about it seems a bit different, or like how Bukowski came down the rope. So I think like I'm always just trying to put in little changes to my movements based on other people that seem to be excelling in those things. And you have to take that with a grain of salt. Like you shouldn't always just try to move like the person that's winning, right? Got to find what works for you. But I think it's mostly taking inspiration from other athletes, actually.
That's like game tape. So I love that. And I love like watching game tape, and, you would do it in situations where you're up against another athlete. We hear football and other sports, watching game tape to be able to see who their opponent is. But for an athlete, you're so young, and to understand the value that comes along with being able to see, hey, if this athlete's doing this well, what's going on? What's different about this that allows them to make this movement pattern? Is this something that was implemented by your coach, or is this something that you guys on the weekends, hey, instead of going out to the movies, we're going to watch game tape. We're going to watch Feldner's muscle ups, and we're going to figure this out and apply it to our own gymnastics. Is that something you guys just do on your own?
Yeah, I think if something comes up,
I really do that, but Jack does that a lot. Jack's always wanting to learn new things, so yeah, it doesn't surprise me that he does stuff like that.
It just naturally comes to you, Emma. You don't even have to think about it.
Well, I don't know about that, but I need someone to tell me how to do something different.
Yeah, it sounds like Emma's like she's letting Jack do the grunt work and the research and then bring it back into the gym. Like, no, wow, it's like if he's gonna do all the homework and then let me kind of copy it down, like why not? And then I can be more efficient in that case.
Yeah, they sent
that
you
happens.
that.
There's a next generation professor over here. You're the next Fikowski with all the little ins and outs on how to kick some ass out there. It's a Canadian thing, maybe.
Maybe it's actually funny you say that. Like, I was paying close attention to him at the games, and it's like inspired me to like dive deeper. I saw like before events, he would strip down to his underwear and give himself like a like he'd weigh himself, and so I guess like to like replenish whatever fluids he lost and things like that, and I love things like that. Like even if they make zero difference or like the smallest thing, I think keeping your head like that sharp into you're going to do literally everything that could help is really cool. So like just seeing that made me realize this year like there's even deeper levels to go into.
Now, who's the mastermind behind all of this? We were there at Polsky at the gym where you guys train. Nick does a great job of running the gym, and they were there as a team at the games too. You got to give them a shout out for that amazing performance too. But who's the mastermind behind you guys training, and is it the same coach for both of you?
Yeah, we both have the same coach. His name is Josh Woolley. He actually just started. Because initially I started with him as my coach when I was like 13. He was like a coach at the gym that I was going to at the time. And he just basically approached me and noticed I was doing good in the classes and noticed that I was interested in it. And he said, if you want to do this, like I can coach you. So I was like, okay, not really knowing what I was fully getting into, but he's been my coach ever since. And then Jack moved closer to us. So then at one point he started doing the same training. So then, now he coaches Jack as well. And just recently he's trying to put his programming more out there too. So that's all.
No, it's great. How's that been for you, Jack, to be able to work with somebody? And do you feel like, you seem so cerebral with this stuff. Do you trust it in the hands of someone else to be able to provide what you probably can come up with on your own in terms of where you think your needs are at?
Oh, I actually don't know about that. I don't know if I could really write programming that much, but we talk a lot. Like he's extremely receptive to feedback, or ideas. So if there's anything like I feel that we don't have in, like I can just tell him straight up, what do you think about this? Or what if we did this? And if he feels like pushback needs to be given, he will. But like oftentimes he thinks like, oh yeah, that's probably a good idea. And like, we'll kind of try to incorporate it, like small things like paces for workouts or things like that. We're doing a lot of like predetermined pace work, but it could go as far as like, even just the other day, like I was like, looking at what I've been doing for the past 2 months. I think we could still be putting more focus in on like my conditioning side of things, because that's ultimately what I'm working on. So like just one Sunday after training, I just called him up and said that to him. Like I said, what do you think about like if on Sundays we take out this and put something more like this? And he's like, yeah, we could do that. I think that's a good idea. So like having that relationship with him is something that I think a lot of people are either like scared to have with their coach or just don't have, but like so important in my opinion.
I want to talk about this a little bit more because we've had so many athletes on recently that have very different experiences with their coaches and the training environment that they have, whether it be an athlete at a major camp in the States or an athlete that works only with an individual coach. And it's just a one-on-one. We had Jeff Adler and Caroline Lambre on recently, and we were talking about their relationship about, Caroline has one other athlete that lives, a few hours away, but the way that she's able to become the best coach that she can be with Jeff is because of the amount of time and energy that she puts into making Jeff the best athlete he can be. And, that type of input and that type of kind of relationship, you can't really do it with a lot of athletes. You can't do it with like 10 people, 5 people. And so you as an athlete, both of you individually, do you find that you work better, maybe just because you're comfortable there and you feel like the relationship works well? Or do you envision the possibility of going somewhere one day and being like, I like being around other athletes that are striving for the same thing. Maybe that will help me achieve that next goal of, bumping up one spot on the podium or making it to that last, past the last cut for you, Jack. Do you feel like this environment is correct for you as an athlete, or that something's missing in terms of your training environment?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Emma. You can start it out.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I can't speak for Jack, but for myself personally, like, I really like the small group that we have. I think we definitely have a very good relationship with our coach as well. Like, he's more than just our coach. Like, he's a close friend of ours as well. So it's really nice to have that. And honestly, sometimes I feel like if I were to be surrounded by a lot of my competitors on like a daily basis in training, I feel like I would not be able to handle that very well. I feel like it would become very competitive and then become very mentally draining. So I think that the environment that we do have, like, personally, it's also nice to have a male training partner, because like, yeah, we can friendly compete in training, but like at the end of the day, we never actually compete against each other. So that's definitely nice. But I think we both also just like to work out with our friends at the gym who honestly just work out at the gym, most of the time just for fun to stay fit. And those are really the people that we train with. And I think we both really enjoy that. So yeah, I don't know. That's the kind of environment that I definitely enjoy.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about you, Jack?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think you want as much of a push as you can get without that moving into a comparison. So like, I think even recently, me and Emma have been doing, oftentimes we do a lot of the same stuff, but more recently it's been very different. And I think even just the other day we said, like, I was feeling really good about my workouts more so than usual. And I think some of that was just that I felt good about it and there was nothing else that could change that opinion, versus if Emma was doing it beside me and she had beat me by a minute or whatever it is, then maybe I start to think like, oh, maybe even though I think it's good, it's not so good. So something like that, like even having like a female training partner, that can get even a bit dangerous. So definitely having like a room stocked with people you're going to compete against, I think would get tough. But then like the push aspect to it, like, a couple weeks ago at the pool, we had like 14 or 16 sets of like some pretty long distances. And I think we have a separate swim coach, but he gave us a range of like 12 to 16 sets. And I wasn't feeling that good, like not sick or anything. It just was like kind of a meh day. But I was thinking like, I know Emma's going to do 16 sets. So that's got to happen. So like things like that can be good, but too much can definitely be dangerous.
Mike, you want in?
Yeah, I know. Dave knows I want to get in on it, and I feel like I'm just kind of your guys' cheering section right now. But maybe that's a good thing. I think the perspective that you both have there is like one more mature than a lot of athletes that are much older than you have, realizing that like you're improving, you're in a good situation. You don't need to like look over the fence and see if there's something more somewhere else. Like don't. And that always kind of pushes me back to where the coach that I grew up with, I started weightlifting with him when I was 11. So a little bit like you, Emma, with just somebody that, I mean, he was an established weightlifting coach and very good, but he used to always say like, trust the coaches that start somebody when they don't know how to do anything, teach them the movements, and then stick with them no matter what. And that was always something that really resonated with me. And I always loved my coach. And then to kind of echo a little bit what you're saying, Jack, the ability to, feel able to be a partner in the situation, like in building the program or making suggestions. I think that's also valuable when you're, let's say, a more intuitive athlete. Like, I think that ownership factor is probably important for you and necessary. So it's also good to hear that you, I guess, even in that moment, were like brave enough to be like, you know what, I just kind of want to say and like see what happens. And then that's only going to improve the results. And then, you know, Emma, you might just be the byproduct of like, now the coach might ask you more questions and like open up a door for you to offer some more suggestions too. So to me, it's like it sounds like the perfect situation. And I would hope it remains that way for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Well, when he started coaching me, like he was a coach at the gym, but he'd never like programmed or coached an athlete before. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Oh, and the other thing is, sorry. The other thing I just wanted to say is like, I give feedback and I give suggestions, but like ultimately I do everything he says. Like it's not like every day I'm saying, this is too much of that or too much of that. Like I don't shy away from giving feedback or my thoughts, but like me and Emma do everything that he writes on our programming every day, like without question. So I just wanted to not make it seem too much like I'm trying to like boss my coach around.
No,
yeah, for sure.
No, not at all. And I mean, you're just kind of coloring in the box for listeners, and whether they're coaches that are listening, and we've got a mixture within our community of athletes, coaches all across the board. Like, you have to believe in what you're doing. So the fact that you guys have that trust with him, and then the compliance, like if you're not actually doing what the coach is giving you, you can't give him credit or blame. Like you're kind of on an island there by yourself. So it's really nice to hear the situation you guys have. And from Dave and I, you know, visiting at Polsky Strength and seeing, you know, that atmosphere where you're able to train and get, I think, a lot of good community in there. It sounds like you guys have a really good mixture of keeping it fun, which is definitely a component of it. And then, you know, knowing that you have to put in that work as well.
Yeah, we've been super lucky.
Now, we talked about some skills and the things that you're really good at. You know, I was amazed to see how well you did on alpaca with the legless rope climbs, and being, you know, a great workout for you, Jack, with thinking that maybe gymnastics was a little bit more of a challenge for you. But is there a movement that you'd love to see come up in a competition? Is there something that you've been dying to be able to see? I know we think about it on the gymnastics side all the time because there's so many different directions that we can go with gymnastics-based skills, but is there something that either you really would love to be able to see at a competitive setting, or maybe see again that was in a previous games that you never got to actually perform?
I mean, I think, let me think on this more, but the one thing that comes immediately to mind is, would be like a Metcon workout with like cripplingly heavy cleans. Like,
I wonder why.
Yeah. Well, that's totally just because I would excel. But there was a Wadapalooza qualifier a couple of years ago that was just in 7 minutes. You had to do a clean and jerk, or maybe it was just I think it was a clean and jerk followed by 50 feet of handstand walking. And you had to do, I think, 5 rounds in 7 minutes, and your score was the weight for your 5 clean and jerks together. And so, like, I mean, obviously that's still for load, but I'd love to see, like, I guess at semifinals of the games, like a clean weight or some sort of heavy implement that like half the field couldn't do, which, you know, depending on the movement, I might be in the half that couldn't do, but I think it'd be cool to have such like a bottleneck event like that.
I have a compromise one, and I'm curious what both of you would think about it. And then Emma, I want to hear what one you're waiting for. So I would like something, especially thinking about your strengths. Let's say it's 5 rounds every 3 minutes. You have to complete a 500-meter row and then max squat cleans at 225.
Ooh, that would suck. Yeah. I mean, I think that's light enough that a lot of people could do that for sure, and the heavier or the stronger people will definitely excel. But I was looking for something that would put some weak people to total shame.
All right, we can bump it up to 315 and make it really
that's
interesting.
more like it.
I think at 315 you'd see even a lot of the guys that are up there closer to you. Just wow, Dave's got some balloons that just went across his screen. I don't know if you guys just saw that. Do you guys see that?
No.
I see it.
I don't know
You
what's
saw it,
happening.
Jack?
Just
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oop.
saw.
All right, we can't even edit that out. Just for listeners, there are like birthday balloons flying across Dave's screen, but they're not real. They're like part of the app or something. But no, Jack, I was just with a workout like that, and I'm reminiscing to something that some mean people made me do when I was still very competitive in weightlifting, and they had me do something similar. But I could imagine somebody getting off the rower and just not realizing how heavy like maybe 315 would feel after a
For sure.
relatively max effort 500, to where like your legs don't actually move when you go to jump under the bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like it.
Right.
Do
All right.
you have one in mind, Emma?
I always really liked watching when they did the obstacle courses. I thought those looked really fun in the past. And I was always hoping that they'd bring them back when I would go, or yeah, that's always been something that I have wished would show up. So
I feel like they maybe stopped the last obstacle course was maybe the year before you were an individual, because they were in Madison too.
I was going to say, but I couldn't remember for sure that I think they had an obstacle course when I was in the teen division, and I remember being upset that the teens didn't get to do it too.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can put a bug in an ear and get another
That would be cool.
cargo net somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So upcoming events, you guys have Rogue or Emma coming up in from when this is being, we're a week out from competition week for Rogue. How's that looking for you? How's prep coming along? What's exciting about Rogue Invite from your perspective?
Yeah, I think I've only been to Rogue once before, but it's definitely one of my favorite competitions. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great competitors, and also, yeah, Rogue puts on a really great competition, so it's very fun to be there in Texas as well. I've been working a lot still on my strength, because that's been something that has been my biggest weakness for a while. So, and typically Rogue is one of the events that has a lot more heavier components, especially with the strongmen being there also. Sometimes they like to throw some stuff at us as well. So, yeah, it's been a lot of, I've been on another strength session since we came back to training after the games up until we go for Rogue. So that's been good. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Everyone that I've spoken to, every athlete speaks so highly of Rogue in terms of just how they treat the athletes, that it's such an athlete-friendly event more than anything else. And it's just so great to hear that they're able to put on an event that the athletes really want to attend, which isn't always the case. So it makes me happy to hear that.
With all of their athletes. So it's really awesome. Yeah. It's a good time.
I love it. And Austin, this time of year is not such a bad place to be.
Yeah, but, definitely.
Jack, what do you got coming up next, competition-wise?
Just Wadapalooza. So we were kind of thinking after the games what I wanted to do competition-wise, and we figured it'd be best to just give a couple months of runway to really try to change things, like get better at some things, and like go to the next competition as a different athlete rather than competing in a month or two and just showing up the same guy. So that was our thinking behind that. So in January in Miami.
Awesome. Well, we'll be there and we'll be able to cheer you guys on in person. Now, I have a couple last questions here. One is just still about training, and then we'll get into some fun ones. But outside of the actual in the gym training, as a holistic approach to approaching this right now, between the needs of sleep and your mindset training and your nutritional components and anything else that you're doing, which of those outside of the gym pieces are the hardest for you to implement? Like the hardest changes? Like, I really struggle with my sleep, or I really struggle with my mindset. Is there a piece of the outside of the gym training that you find to be especially exhausting or that needs additional focus? And maybe Emma, if you want to start.
Yeah, for me personally, it's I'd say sleep. I like to stay up late. I just always have. And then I always just need to wake up early for whatever I'm doing the next day. So Yeah, that's been something more recently that I've been trying to dial in and get to bed earlier. Like going to bed at 11:30 was like kind of normal for me at one point. And then waking up at like 6:30 or 7. Don't get as much sleep as I probably should. So yeah, that's been something that I'm trying to get better at.
Nap during the day?
No, I don't like it. I get all
right.
messed up when I nap in the day.
That's a learned skill. Learned skill, become professional napper.
Yeah.
What about you, Jack?
For me, if I like have the time, sleep is relatively easy. I'm kind of the opposite time. I like going to bed early and getting up early. So if I have like, if school's not pressing or anything, like that's kind of no problem. I think mindset at points is tough. I kind of tried to stop the mindset of just getting to the gym some days and just turning the brain off and knocking out, just checking boxes, which isn't the type of mindset you want to have every day, but on days where you're kind of dreading doing it, just getting it done can sometimes be the best thing. So outside of the gym, I think mindset's a big thing. And then I really enjoy like the nutrition side of things. I'm always trying new things and like seeing how my body responds to that. So I actually have a lot of fun with kind of like the sleep, like measuring things and I don't want to make myself sound too much like Brent, like we were saying, because I'm definitely not at that level. But
No, it's not a bad person to emulate.
no, but yeah, I definitely have fun with those things. I think it's probably my mindset could use the most work of those things.
Excellent. Very good. Mike, you look like
I'm
want to say
kind
something on
of,
there.
I don't know, maybe it'll lead into some of our final questions, but I'm curious of the two of you, who is more likely to have a journal right now tracking their sleep?
Jack.
Yeah, definitely me.
Jack, do you have a journal that tracks your sleep?
Not a paper copy.
All right.
It's in the phone though.
Okay.
Jack's in bed by 8:30 and I'm like just finishing, like I haven't even started my night routine yet, and I probably won't even start it for like another hour.
The wisdom of a 21-year-old, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's about balance with your training partner and people you choose to spend a lot of time with. So you don't want to be exactly.
Not saying it's bad. We're just different that way.
So here are another couple questions for you two. Who takes longer to warm up for a workout?
Jack.
Yeah, probably me.
Definitely.
Very precise with the warm up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think half of it's warming up and then half of it is a bit of time wasting as well.
Procrastinating. I'll be ready for a workout and I'm standing there for 20 minutes. By the time we start, I'm cold again.
Maybe it's strategy. He's trying to psych you out a little bit.
Yeah, like they do in football, like icing the kicker. You guys familiar with that?
Yes, we are very much.
Yeah. That's what I do to him a little bit. Just
so along those same lines, who's more likely to trash talk during workouts?
Ooh, during. I'm not sure we do too much against.
Yeah, you just play mind games.
Yeah, I think.
Is Canadian trash talk a little more like passive aggressive?
No passive aggressive.
I feel like I would be one to say not like trash talk, but if Jack is going like, if we're supposed to be doing a workout that's like easy and Jack's over here beside me going hard, and I'd be like, why are you going so hard? Like we're supposed to be going easy, because I feel like he's going so much faster than me. I feel like I definitely do say things like that.
That's fair enough. I remember on like a deload week, or maybe it was leading up to a competition, like in every workout we did, our coach put an RP beside it. And I remember like Emma was doing a workout, and every like couple minutes I'd just go over and say like RP7. Like
that's
just
not RP7.
Yeah.
That's all that we really.
What's your favorite thing to do outside of the gym, the two of you together?
Well, we do like dinner.
Yeah,
you go out to dinners?
True. yeah, we do like to go for dinner. We have a place here that we always basically go to, and it's funny. Like we always joke, even it might not even be true, but we always joke that the waiter or waitress is going to be shocked when they come back 2 minutes later and like the plate of nachos is gone already. So, I enjoy. I don't know if Emma enjoys it quite as much, but we spend some time in the sauna and like cold. Like I love that stuff, and we do a lot of it together. But yeah, I'm not sure Emma feels the same way.
I like that.
I have to appreciate this, Jack. That's like, what things do you enjoy doing together outside of the gym? Restorative contrast therapy, and like that would. That's so good.
In the summer, though, I feel like we do more. Yeah, like we went to Alberta not that long ago, so we did some like hiking and stuff like that. I guess we do a lot of active things like walking,
That's a good thing.
biking, stuff
Use your
like
fitness.
that. Yeah.
All right. So last minute question, guys. We don't want to take too much of your time here, but some of the ones that we asked to most of our guests, and hoping to keep the tradition alive here. Emma, you start first, and then you, Jack. What sport or discipline do you prefer, weightlifting or gymnastics?
I'd say gymnastics, I think.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably the right choice. Thank you for that.
I prefer weightlifting, especially the Olympic lifts. I'm not.
It's a push. We've got a tie. I'll take it.
All right, 1 point each.
If we weight, but if we weight that with along with participation in the discipline with Power Monkey coaches, the gymnastics heavily won with a strong 3-1.
Mike's still bitter about that. No big deal.
Yeah. Not bitter, just sad. I was really excited to work with you guys. It's okay.
There will be other opportunities. We're gonna get
For
both of
sure.
them out to camp sometime, and
Yeah,
we'll
that'd
work
be
together.
awesome.
Yeah, it's not that we want to. We just had something planned on the next day. That's
I know.
all.
No, I've had so many dates that were like that too. They wanted to, but they were busy.
Next question. Anyone that you think would be good for us to have on the podcast? Somebody that you work with, or somebody that you've come across recently that might be a good interview? Either one of you.
Well, my initial thought, he's either already been on or you guys already know him, but Mike Malloy. He's just a wealth of knowledge for me. I love talking to him. We have 2 check-ins a week, so and it seems like any question I have, like he either already knows the answer to, or he's quick to find some sort of study that supports some theory. So I think he's a pretty good guy to listen to.
You know what? I don't need to hear another one. We need to have Mike back on again. Mike is a very close part of our Power Monkey family, and we love him. And he is all the things you're saying, Jack. He is one of the most brilliant people that we know. Owner and creator, founder of M2 Performance Nutrition. We got to give him a shout out. And I know he works with both of you, and he's just the best. So him and his team, we definitely got to give him some love. So good suggestion there. We'll get Mike back on again.
Yeah, sounds good.
Did you have someone in mind, Emma?
Not at the moment. I might have to
think about it, and you can pass it along to Jordan. We'll put it in the notes.
Yeah, definitely.
Last question. If you are a book reader, is there a book that you're reading right now or currently read that is worth passing along? Or if you are not, is there a movie or a TV show that you're watching recently that is worth passing along?
I have been kind of reading. I was never a reader, but since I've stopped, since not being in school anymore, I didn't like reading when I was in school because I felt it was forced, but now I can read and enjoy it. Not that any of you would be interested in these kind of books, I don't think, but I've been into the Colleen Hoover books. I don't know if you've heard of those, but there are a lot of young girls my age and would read it. So that's what I like reading.
Fantastic. Jordan,
yeah, Mike talked to me about it earlier. He said that he just finished the 3rd book. So
yeah, I'm in a Colleen Hoover reading club over here
nice.
in Germany. Yeah, so
Nice.
Huge-
I wasn't
she's huge
sure,
in Germany.
but I do really like her. Yeah.
Excellent. What about you, Jack?
I don't read very much at all. But I think I've consumed enough content that I pretty much have read the book Outlive by Peter Attia. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him, but I haven't read the book front to back, but I've looked at it a fair bit and listened to about all his stuff. Oh, here we go.
You're tapping into a current obsession of Dave's right now, Jack.
I
just,
just bought that book yesterday, actually.
Who did? You did?
Really?
Just yesterday, ironically.
Jack, now that I know some of your favorite pastimes outside of the gym, I could invite you to one of the Power Monkey sauna sessions where basically Dave and some of our other coaches talk about that book in depth.
That book and
while
other
they're sauning.
things.
Mostly that book and how to stay as healthy and live as long as possible.
Interesting stuff.
I should sit down and really read it, but I just kind of found him. I think he's been big for a while, but in the past like 6-8 months, and he's actually from like close to where we are here, and he went to university not too far away before going to the States for medical school. So he's a cool guy. I also just like how he talks and presents himself. So
I agree. It's a very impressive dude. Great book. If you haven't listened to it or checked it out yet, definitely Outlive is worth picking up if you're in this space. Thank you both, guys. We appreciate the time today and getting some insight into what's going on in your lives. Where can people find you if they want more information on what's going on with Jack and Emma?
just Jack Farlow on Instagram for me.
Yeah, mine is Emma.Lawson _5 on Instagram.
So you're the fifth Emma Lawson that got the account.
I tried to get it just my, but nope, nothing was working. I've got the _5 on there.
I wonder what those other 4 are doing right now.
Yeah.
Definitely not podium at the CrossFit Games, that's for sure.
We also both have YouTube channels. Emma's is a bit more active than mine, but I'm trying to get it going.
And just under your names for both those channels? Excellent. Well, thank you both again, guys. It's great chatting. Hopefully we get to see you again in person sometime soon. Like we said, that invitation to Power Monkey Camp stands. Hopefully get you to Tennessee with us sometime soon and get to work with you again. For all the listeners out there, thank you again for the time. Be sure to head over to powermonkeyfitness.com for services and upcoming events. Check out our Instagram pages for regular teaching and technical content at Power Monkey Fitness, at Dave Durante, and at Mike Service. On behalf of Power Monkey Fitness, we're your hosts. I'm Dave Durante with my co-host Mike Service. And until next time, thank you all for listening.